Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. In this video I will be sharing with you some secrets that will take your braiding technique to the next level for 2022. So you might know some of these, you might not, and I just still want to share. So you know how we make lemonade braids and it's looking so nice and lovely. When you are done, you just have this feeling that the hump is kind of too much, like it doesn't lie flat on the side. You have that speed breaker type of hump on the side, and then you see your clients a couple of days and you feel like hiding under a chair because it just looks embarrassing. So we usually have like knotless braid underneath the side on top of the ears, but to take it to the next level and help you get very flat braids on the side of your lemonade hairstyle, just braid one single cornrow to the back. I don't think you can put it in the front because it might not fall in line with the rest of the braids, but from the back it will. And also this also applies to the speed breakers that we have at the back of the head when you're braiding all back. Once your cornrow to the back are more than 10, it's time for you to add some single braids at the back so that your cornrow can lie flat. I don't think it's necessary to have the single cornrow because that place is usually curved a little bit, but the individual braids will help. I came across this other technique by mistake because my plastic jug gave up on me one day at the shop, and I decided to use a tea mug I had in the store because I hadn't used it to eat for a long time. So I was just, whatever, this is the only cup I can use. And when I used it, it was so easy. And the good thing about this is that when you're working with clients, especially kids, in short, you can't even say kids, there are some adults that just don't know how to keep their head one place. So if you're working with people like that, this will help you have more control over the hot water. And because the mug has a hand that the heat cannot transfer onto, it's going to be more steady and it's safer for your hand. Just make sure you don't have oil on your hand, like those oil spray or sheen whatever, because when I have it on my hand and I am holding on to this cup, I'll have to use a towel to hold on to the cup because it's going to be sliding kind of all over the place. This is best for when your the part of the braid you want to dip in the hot water is very close to the scalp. That helps. Now moving over to adding oil to your rubber bands before using them. I just spray oil sheen on mine and you can see all the advantages it helps. It gives. The only problem I had with this was that I had a bad habit of using my teeth to expand the rubber band when one of my hands are busy. So with this I had to like find a way to get around that. It's actually a bad habit, so it's good it died off. Then when you're taking down your braids, this is just amazing. I saw this tool on November Love on Instagram. I saw a tool on her page that she sells. She uses it to like pop rubber bands. It's like a rubber band popper or something like that. If you want to take it off, you can check her channel out. This clip is also from her channel and it's showing how to layer your beads so that it can fall perfectly. I have messed up in this area several times. If you start adding your beads from the braids on the outer side of one of the edges, you will be surprised that when you get to the opposite side, the beads will not be equal, like the braids will not be equal. It always feels like a magic. It's almost as if an invisible power is messing with you because you'll be like, I was measuring this thing, but it will not be equal. So it's safer to start from the middle, then work your way outwards on the left hand side and work your way outwards on the right hand side. It is very important for your client to have her head straight up and like straight, no bending forward too much, no leaning back too much, no leaning to the sides at all. Straight before you wrap that rubber band. If not, taking this thing down to redo it is one of the most annoying things to braiders. Like, it's so annoying, especially when your client is the one causing this problem. Just charge them extra money for the inconvenience. I'm joking. So from there you can work your way upwards and just keep layering it, and at the end you're going to have like the perfect cascade of beaded braids. just like this. And this next one is for when you want to coil your braids, or you want to do whatever style where you don't need to finish up the braids. I always have this problem before, where after tying it, it's going to just unravel before you're done with the whole head. I figured out how to use a very tiny as practical. Use a very tiny piece and knot it, wrap it several times, then knot it like twice. If you are working with those slippery coily type of braiding hair, then you will have to wrap it more times. Like this one I used in making my hair, you can see it was wrapped up to 7-8 times. You either do it properly the first time, or you will have to revisit it and do it again when it is just going to annoy the hell out of you, and nobody wants to be annoyed. Like, we want to be in our best mood while braiding and just while working. So that's that. Next secret. Now, if you don't want to like use needle and thread to hold your braids in place, to take your technique to the next level, like be over that needle and thread level, once you're braiding one, you take out some piece of hair, one or two, leave it off. When you braid the next one, you add it onto it. This technique has always been used for edges, for clients who don't have edges. Like, I like how surprised people are when we do this. Like, when we do this type of techniques, they just look at you like a mini god. Like, how did you braid over nothing? How? So it's amazing. Look at the output. It's beautiful. That video was by V's Hands 2020. I saw her on TikTok. And this one was by I'm just going to leave a link to the creators at the end of the video for those that I don't remember now. So if your client is going to be having her all back in a ponytail, like a low ponytail, there is no need to braid it straight back and then pack it like a ponytail. It's going to hurt on the sides. So what you should do is have your foundation, 4 braids at the center of the head at the back, and then when you're braiding down, you curve the braids to taper towards the middle when it gets to the nape of the neck. That way you will not have to like braid all back and then pull the hair towards the ponytail, and it looks better, it looks finer. Still discussing in that area, let's talk about when your ponytail is at the top. To get the perfect ponytail, after pre-sectioning your hair, at the middle of the ponytail, you make these individual braids. It's going to, number one, make sure that you land where you are supposed to land. You will not misland and have your ponytail looking like a rectangle in the middle. So, and it's also going to help all the braids to lie down flat. Next. So sometimes when I think about this one, I weep for the times I made this blunder. I weep for the clients I made their crochet like this and just have to tell them, sorry, I'll soon be through, and they just pull the hair. Oh my god, that used to be painful. So this is an upgrade. This clip is by Joyce Art on YouTube. I love her. I can recognize her hands anywhere I see her, and her type of combs. Everything about her is just unique and different. I really like her technique. She's always coming up with nice things. So instead of having to pull your crochet through the braid or the cornrow, you pull the hair through the loop. That way you're not forming a loop. It's like a loopless crochet method, and I used it. This is just a little bit, I tapered it a little. In this one, I added the crochet hair to one strand of the 3 strands and then braid it. Then I pull the tail from the previous one and add it over, and guys, it looks like individual braids. It looks beautiful. As you can see, my client loved her hair. Now this is another variation. In this case, you insert your latch hook where you want your crochet to fall. When you're done with your hair, where you want it to fall, that's when your hook is going to enter from. You pull the loop past the person's hair, the natural hair, through the loop, so that when you flip the crochet over, it's like it's growing from the scalp somehow, and then you just braid, just continue like that. You add the hair and you braid, you add, no more passing it through, the painful process. Now let's talk about like just adding some touch to your hair with beads. Pass your needle into the middle. It is once you are in the middle that you add your bead, and then you pass the needle out of the middle. So you pass your needle into the center, add your bead, then pass your needle out of it. This is going to help the bead to lodge in perfectly in between the braid. This is a video I made of how to fill in your braid with beads, your braid design with beads. I will link it at the end of this video. Now let's move over to crisscrossing. When you are done with your crisscross, having that final crossing at the end gives it a touch of professionalism. It makes it more interesting. So this is how you can add a knotless braid directly at the end of your crisscross, while still having it ending at a cross, not a crease, a cross. It ends at a cross, a crisscross, a crease, not a cross. It's a cross. It ends at a cross, not a crease. Whatever. You are not going to have two braids at the end of the crisscross. It ends nicely tapered, and your knotless braid starts from there. That is how to do it. Now let's talk about hiding your rubber band. Okay, so this is the first method, where you just take a piece of the hair. After crocheting the hair, you wrap it around the rubber band to hide it, and then you proceed to make your braid. I agree with you, this can look, number one, it can be painful if you're not very careful. Number two, it reduces the movement around the hair. We're talking about knotless, we're not moving backwards, so this is an upgrade from that. Share that piece of hair into two, then add it up, down, left and right. That way you have braids from the four sides of the rubber band, and it covers it. So you just make your hair, and as you can see, it covers at least 90% of the rubber band. If you manage to see it, it's because you are amiable and you went too close and you're nosing into what is not your business. Now let's move over to knotless braids. Not just knotless braids, but individual braids in general. So one person makes her own and it's packed flat and looks full, and some other person makes her own and the braids are lying on top of each other and it looks scanty. That's the technique. Brick layering. This video shows you how to brick layer so that your braid lies not on top of each other, and then when you pack it up, it lies flat and it looks full. That is a useful technique if you live in a country where people don't like spending too much money on their hair because the economy is not the best. So you have to make the hair look full, but when they go to pack it, it lies flat. You get it. And so guys, this last one is when you have to hide a blunt end. Of course, using braiding gel and tucking the hair in is the best, but if you happen to have finished your braid and you noticed one or two, you can just sneakily use a latch hook and pull it in like this. This video has a lot of tea. Check out the creators listed here. The rest I didn't mention, of course. And then share with your friend, or share with someone who is also learning how to braid or trying to braid or interested in braiding or braids. And peace.